Welcome to the Business of Dance podcast, where you'll learn what it takes to create your dream professional dance career.
Join us as we dive into the insights and experiences of the world's top dance industry professionals, including dancers, choreographers, agents, casting directors, educators, and other dance industry experts.
We explore a diverse range of topics, from personal development and mental skills to audition techniques, creating meaningful industry connections, social media marketing, seeking out dance agents and casting opportunities, on-the-job etiquette, talent unions, pitching to the media, health, finances, and so much more.
Here is your host, Menina Fortunato.
All right, tonight's guest, I'm really excited for you guys to meet. He is a Broadway performer that had a 15-year career across theater, TV, and music. He's been on several Broadway shows, including Hairspray as Link Larkin, Kinky Boots as Charlie Price, Next to Normal opposite Tony Award winner Alice Ripley, and was also part of Nickelodeon's Big Time Rush. But his biggest claim to fame was starring in the musical Wicked as Winky Prince and Fiyero Tegelar. And now he is a triple threat where he also helps dancers and teaching them how to sing. And we've also got a fun story in which I'll bring up on how we even met, which is totally unorthodox. But without further ado, please help me give some virtual love to Curt Hansen.
Hey, everyone.
Okay. I kind of want to share our little story before we go into your backstory, because it was kind of unexpected how it all happened.
Yeah.
How about you share your version of the story and I'll add my version if I need to.
Yeah. So, hi, everyone. My name's Curt, by the way. I live in Denver, Colorado in the States. So, yeah, I met Menina because I reached out on Instagram because I have an app called 567 Sing where I teach dancers how to sing because it's really important. I'm sure we'll talk at length about that. But within the app, they always talked about Menina and how amazing she is and this, and she has this app and this and this. So I finally reached out. I was like, hey, I think we might have similar things we're trying to do here. So I'd love to pick your brain. And then she's like, I would love to meet you. Also, my daughter wants to learn how to sing and she's a dancer. I was like, perfect. And then I guess the rest is history. I'm sure there's more.
Yeah, we jumped on a Zoom call. It was supposed to be 30 minutes, turned into 2 hours.
It's so long.
The two of us like to talk, and it was...
I know.
We talked business, we talked, and then I ended up signing up my daughter to do singing lessons because she's been bugging me for months, and I just couldn't find anyone. I was like, I don't have time to drive anywhere. So it's an online program for dancers who want to learn how to sing. So I signed him up, and he's been working with my daughter for the last month, and she's enjoying it. And I was like, I got to bring him here. I got to bring him into my world.
I know. This is there's so many faces. I love it.
Yes, so many faces. So, okay. So now let's go back to the beginning because I don't know this part. Is there a young boy who had a dream? Is there somebody who started singing, acting, dancing? How did that begin?
So I'm from a really small town in Wisconsin. It was about like 8,000 people. It's pretty small. And I was really quiet. Believe it or not, I was really quiet. I'm a middle child. I have an older brother, younger sister, and they're super chatty. And I was super quiet. I started middle school, so I was about 12 years old. And my friends, quote unquote, at the time were like, you should join choir. I heard it's an easy A. I was like, okay, cool. Be my friend. And turns out choir was what changed my life. Maybe I'd probably say a month into the school year, we had our parent-teacher conferences, and Mrs. Spicer, my choir teacher, pulled my parents aside, and she said, Curt has the voice of an angel. It's my parents. And I was like, what? I was like, I always liked to sing, but that affirmation kind of set me on this path of where I am now, finding my voice as a young boy who was very quiet, being interested in musicals and theater. Luckily enough, in our small town, we had an art center that was it was built maybe 2 years after that. So I was able to have that outlet to perform, and I got the bug, man. So I started off singing. I didn't dance, only in shows. So I wasn't formally trained. If I point my feet now, they will cramp, but I'm not kidding. It's a problem. I still had to dance, and we'll talk about that, I'm sure, later with triple threat and stuff. But I found out, early on that if I wanted to do this, the odds of me becoming a pop star and being just a singer were pretty small. So I knew that I had to kind of have a lot of different skills at my disposal to kind of, be able to do this and have a long career. And then, so just kind of dancing a little bit, and I got really lucky. I was in the closing cast of Hairspray. I moved to New York with a Broadway show, which is very rare. I was so lucky.
Oh, hold on. How did you book that if you were not in?
Yeah. It was an open
story.
call. So open call of a Broadway show called Spring Awakening. They were looking for Broadway replacements and they were casting their tour. And I went to Chicago to do this. Okay. And I was 13th in line of like hundreds. And I went in and I auditioned and I played the piano and sang because I knew that would make me stand out. It was a song I wrote, terrible song, but whatever. It's not, that's not one of my good skills. And then I got a final call back in New York. While I was there, the same director, Michael Mayer, was directing a brand new musical called The Flamingo Kid, based off the 1983 Matt Dillon movie. I got cast as the lead in that while I was visiting for the final callback of Spring Awakening. While I was there, I got an agent and things fell into place. And I also auditioned on that trip for Hairspray. And 3 months later was living in New York. It was wild.
Amazing. Now,
it was wild.
Living permanently in Chicago at the time, or was that?
No, I was going to
fly-by-night audition.
Yeah, I was going to school in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, which was probably 4 hours from Chicago. I went down on, I think it was a Friday. I was dating a girl who lived there. That was helpful. I had I was facilitated. But yeah, it was like everything just aligned, And that's kind of how the world works in a way, right? Where if it doesn't, even just meeting you, it was when it works and it's easy, it's easy.
It was so easy. It was so easy and so random too. It wasn't as I expected. All because my virtual assistant sent you a DM and said, "Thanks for the follow. Curious, how did you?"
I was like, "She's so friendly." Oh wait, it's a robot.
And then no, it's my real virtual assistant. It's a human.
Oh, okay.
That's her job, is to start conversations. I have a couple of virtual assistants that are in my DMs because I have hundreds of them and I can't manage them all. So
yeah.
And then I saw the conversation started. I was like, hold up. I need to take over this conversation. I'm like, hey, it's Menina. I'm like, you can back off.
Back off, lady.
This is actually somebody I need to talk to. Because when I saw your profile, I was like, why are you following me? And then you're like, oh, and Passion and da-da. So dancers, you guys know the Passion app that you guys all use for your homework. That's how we connected, because I'm one of the success stories within that company. She's
a big deal over there, you guys. Really big deal.
Thank you. And that's what prompted him to get curious about what is she doing over there? And you didn't even intend, you told me you didn't even intend to actually reach out. You were just let me just follow her and see what she's doing.
Yeah.
It was just that DM that was well, I'll tell you why I followed you.
Exactly.
And one thing led to another. Okay, back to you. So you're in Chicago for this audition. You book the Hairspray. You move into New York City. You're on a Broadway show. How long was this contract?
Let's see. It was open-ended, but we got our closing notice about maybe 10 months after that. So it was March of 2008. I moved out there and we closed January 2009.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's not a bad way to start your New York City adventures. Did you have an agent at the time?
I did. Yeah. So I got an agent. Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it's definitely easier to get an agent when you have, I kind of needed one to help with the contract because I was like, I have no idea what this is. And keep in mind, I had to move there, right?
Yeah.
I had to drop out of college and move there. And this is important though. I had a conversation with my professors because I was like, I'm kind of torn because this is what I'm going to school. I was a musical theater major. I was a BFA major. And I was like, I'm torn because I want to see my commitment through with college. And they basically were like, are you crazy? You were going to do this. This is what you're going to school for.
I'm so glad they encouraged that.
They did. Yeah. It was really cool because they're like, they're like, just promise that you'll still train and do stuff. There's still more work to be done. But yeah, they were very, very happy and proud. And it was cool because they could have been like, no, you're staying here, but it also obviously makes them better too.
You're going to school so you can do the thing that you just got hired to do. So go do the thing.
100%. Exactly. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. So 10-month run-ish, you finished Hairspray. Then what?
Let's see. Well, in between there, I was in a boy band.
Oh, really? I didn't know this.
Yes. So have you guys heard of Big Time Rush on Nickelodeon? This is another important story where I got cast as the lead of this show. It was a boy band. It was like Nickelodeon's version of the Jonas Brothers. Okay. And we like shot the pilot, which is, like a test version of the show. We like recorded a pilot album for Sony.
Wow.
And then for some reason they just recast me. And it went on to like, I don't know, very successful run. They had me back as like a guest star. But yeah, it was pretty heartbreaking of like, I was like, this is it. This is my
Big
ticket.
break.
Yeah. And it was, but there was reason, season, lifetime. There was a reason for it. Had that have happened and it went through, I don't know where I would be right now. Wouldn't be here probably, right? Wouldn't have met my wife. Wouldn't have
There you go.
had the career that I had. It just would have been very different, Still really heartbreaking. Have no idea why I was recast. They said I was too old. I was 20.
Wow. Well, it's Nickelodeon, I guess.
I know.
They want the teeny bop kind of
I know.
vibes. Like, but still, 20-year-olds always play high school.
I still look like I could be a high schooler, right?
Why not? I played high school till 29 was the last high
Exactly.
school. And it was Nickelodeon. It was a Nickelodeon TV movie with
There you go.
Victoria Justice. Anybody know Victoria Justice? About the show?
Yeah,
Victoria's?
she came to visit on set all the time. It was crazy.
I was on set with her working on Spectacular, the movie.
Mhm.
I played opposite her as a high school kid in the show choir. Oh, I was in the show choir.
Did you have to sing?
I lip sing.
Which means you still had to like listen. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about lip syncing.
Professional lip singer.
Lip syncing is so hard. Like you have to actually.
You have
I have a
to
story.
sing. You have to actually sing. You do.
Yeah,
but,
you do.
But nobody can hear it. That's a good part.
Well, we'll get to that. So you need to have confidence, Menina. All of you.
I have a lot of skills, and the singing was never one of them.
I doubt that.
But yeah, long story short, I was like twice her age, and I was on set when she got the call that they officially signed the deal for Victorious.
Amazing.
Which was 2000. Hold up.
It was probably the same time. That was
It was
2000. 2000. That was fall of 2008. So yeah, it was seriously like we shot on Paramount. She would come over.
And I did the spring of 2008 with her.
Crazy.
Whoa.
So crazy.
The world is small.
See you guys?
We're discovering. We're peeling.
I know.
Right now.
So many layers.
So many layers. Okay, so your dreams are crushed. You got replaced on, the show. You thought you were going to be a, pop star, and then life took you where?
Let's see. Where did I go then? I was in New York, and I kind of, did the LA thing for like pilot season, and went there, and
So for acting.
for
Okay.
acting, yeah, for acting, and then I did. Insert Ariana Grande story.
Yes.
Here.
The pin post. There's a duo of him and Ariana Grande singing, and then there's a little kiss at the end. I was like, hold up. What is this from? Please spill the tea.
Okay. So it was probably 2012.
Okay.
2012, yeah, Christmas. It was a Christmas show in LA called Snow White Christmas. And it was like a panto. It was a very fun kids show produced by the Lithgows. So Bonnie Lithgow, Nigel Lithgow of So You Think You Can Dance.
Wow.
So it was and Spencer Liv choreographed it, who I'm sure you guys all know. And this was, I'm not kidding you, it had to be like 4 months before she became Ariana Grande. Because before that, she had her Nickelodeon stuff and she had an album coming out. And first of all, so she's amazing. I knew her brother from the Broadway world, Frankie. But like, she's so cool, so talented, and like just an awesome person. So let's get that out there. She's really great. But it was a fun, like silly, I was Prince Charming and she was Snow White, and we had to sing a love duet at the end and we had to kiss. It was just like, it happened. So,
And then
but it was
what
a really
happened
fun show.
shortly after? There's an interesting story after.
Oh,
a couple months after.
While I was doing that show, I got the call from my agents that I was going to be Fiyero in Wicked. And then
look who
she's
just
now
started Wicked. Like a decade later.
Am I a wizard? I feel like I'm like sorcerer or something.
Like the Wizard of Oz over here.
Oh,
The
no,
magical
see?
powers.
Maybe. Oh gosh.
Like you just foreshadowed both of your careers from then on. You got Wicked, she got Wicked.
I know. I know. It was
assume there's
really,
no
it was really
connection
fun.
anymore. You lost touch.
No.
with this.
Yeah. No connection. I
It's
tried, but I don't even know.
completely-
Do you think she even has a phone?
When you're that big, you
Yeah.
have personal assistants that are holding your phones.
Exactly.
And people screening the stuff to make sure
Yeah.
that they even want you talking to them.
Exactly.
So, and there's managers and agents and publicists and personal security guards and so many people so much red tape to get to someone.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm good. We had our moment. It was fun.
Hey, you can hold on to that moment for life and brag about it for life. It's your moment to keep. So amazing. Okay, so then you got cast in Wicked. Like that's major. How long were you a part of that cast?
Off and on, 3 different companies for 8 years. Yeah.
Wow.
So I did 2 national tours and the Broadway company. It was awesome. On that first contract, it was the first national tour, which was a really great tour because we would go to these major cities for like anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. A lot of Broadway tours are usually like a week to 2 weeks, depending on, those are the union contracts. And a lot of non-union are maybe like one-nighters. So like to sit down in a city and feel like you live there is so amazing. I also met my wife on that tour. We were in Philadelphia. She was a backup dancer for Taylor Swift Red Tour. Randomly went.
I didn't know this.
Oh yeah, my wife's the real deal. She's major.
Okay. You up from that?
Oh no, she makes me look so good. She's incredible.
I love it.
She was also, if anyone's seen the Fame remake from 2007, 2008, she's the ballerina on point.
Directed by Kevin Tantrum, one of my good friends.
Was it? I thought it was. Yes. Wasn't it Kenny? No, it wasn't Kenny. Kenny Ortega?
It was Kevin Tantrum. He directed the Fame.
Oh, maybe Kenny choreographed it. But yeah, she's the ballerina on point in that. That's my wife.
I'll have to look her up. Okay.
Yeah, she's amazing. So I met my wife there, and then it was just like off and on. It was just a great job to have, and especially now, like everyone knows Wicked, so it's just like it's cool. Well, yeah. Not many actors get to say what they've done, and people actually recognize what they've done.
That's amazing. So 8-year run. I mean, I guess would you say that was the dream job? The highlight of your performing life?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I think that's what I would say is synonymous with me. Like I think that's what I identify with the most. Gave me a lot of confidence. It was fun. It was, really great money, which is always nice. Not the end all be all, but it's nice when you can have a job.
I'm so glad you said that because there's a lot of parents out there that don't think you can make money in this life of performing. So.
Oh, yeah. No, you can make money, especially as Fiyero and Wicked.
Well, yes, you are kind of the star of the show, but one of the
So, but no, it was great. It was awesome. That was the last thing I performed. My last time performing was 2021, November 2021. Okay. And because that was 2 months after my daughter was born, it was kind of I just went out kind of on top, I would say. Like I made that decision to put it aside and had a good run. And now I help dancers like y'all.
Help dancers that you singing. So I guess, would you say family life was kind of the big pull of what took you out of New York and shifting gears and
business? And I'm a very sensitive boy, and like auditioning, like it was tough, man. It was really tough. And I remember back in the day when I was in LA, when I first started out, I had a screen test for another pilot it was a Fox show that never went anywhere, but it's basically like a family sitcom, and it was me and this other guy for the son role. And then there were 3 guys in the waiting room for the dad part. And it was Ed Begley Jr. I'm sure look him up. You'd recognize him. Daryl Hammond and Tom Arnold for this father role, still auditioning into their 60s. And they are like celebrities. They are like people that don't need to be auditioning. Right. And it was just kind of this thing of like, oh my gosh, this is going to be my life into my however old. And I was like, I don't know if I can sustain that, because it is tough putting yourself out there and hustling and then not necessarily getting the job, especially when your livelihood's on the line, when you have to pay rent and it's like becomes that desperation. When I was younger, I got really lucky. So there was moments of like, oh, this is easy. And then when it got hard, I don't know if I had the fortitude to sustain it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you get tired after a while.
Yeah, it's tough. But I think I tell my students that all the time. Like it is tough. But you just have to kind of switch your thinking about like, what is the job, right? Like, yes, it's amazing to book, but when you go into those auditions, your job is to just do a good job and do your best, come prepared, because the rest is like completely out of your hands at that point,
Totally. Well, you kind of put things into your own hands by creating 5, 6, 7 Sing. So you want to share a little bit more about what that is, what inspired that, number one, and what is it? So
I met my wife. She's obviously a dancer. Grew up in this crazy world that you guys think is normal. It's so not normal, but it's amazing. The convention competition world, it's wild. If you're not like a part of it and you step into it, it's like, oh, this is what you guys do all the time. She teaches on a convention, and there was a moment where the company she works for needed a host. And I was like, wasn't working. I was like, yeah, I'll do that. I like being on stage. This is fun. So I was hosting the events, announcing competition, and again, didn't know this world at all. So I would be like, up next, 343, junior musical theater solo, Amazing Maisie. I'd be like, she's going to get up there and sing and dance. As we all know, that doesn't happen. Musical theater dance. So I was like, what is that? Like, that's not musical theater. That's a jazz solo to a musical theater song, and they're badly lip syncing. I was kind of like, if they want to do musical theater, they're not being set up for success, because you literally cannot do a Broadway show unless you sing. Okay. So we kind of pitched to the owner, like, what if we do a musical theater class where we make them sing and dance at the same time? He's like, okay, try it. And initially the dancers were like, not on board, but over time, like, it's now their favorite class, and it's fun because it's like, I kind of approach how I teach singing to dancers is how I learned how to dance, right? Making it approachable, not having all these like technical terms, using your dance expertise as your superpower, really, because you guys are so incredible. Like, you get up on stage and light up the stage and do all this crazy stuff with your bodies, telling a story to music, and then someone asks you to open your mouth and you're like, you just fade away, right? But like, you guys are so special. And at your age, I mean, even at like younger kids, like, there are not many people in the world that are experts at something at such a young age as dancers are, right? Maybe Olympic athletes, but like, you guys are so incredible. So then once I started teaching at convention, and during COVID, I was like, well, I'm going to start doing virtual voice lessons. And then through that, I kind of developed my mentorship, which is like a program to get dancers, triple threat audition ready in 6 months, where we get them an audition song. Because my main thesis about like what it takes to be a singer is the true test of a singer is the ability to perform a song in front of people without that like pit in your stomach. And as a dancer, you guys don't have to be like these incredible vocalists. You just have to like be willing to do it, because there's so many dancers who don't, right? I'm sure you all, like, even a lot of you here are probably terrified to do it. But because of that, if you are prepared, and that's like the luxury that you have as a singer going into an audition, is that you can prepare for it. That's going to set you apart from so many other dancers who like will get asked to sing after their dance call and then they'll leave, or they'll walk in and sing Happy Birthday a cappella. But like, if you have a go-to song that you can crush, even if it's like easy, that's it. That's really it. And I've loved every second of it, and you guys are amazing, and it's been super fun. So
yeah, and that's your main focus these days is 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Well, on that note,
yeah.
I'm going to open it up for Q&A. Let's start with Michaela.
Hi, I'm Michaela Grace. I am actually 17 tomorrow. I aspire to be on Broadway one day because it's my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
So my question for you is, out of all the Broadway shows you've done, what was your favorite and what was the hardest one to do?
Good question. My favorite, it's going to shock you, Hairspray. It was so fun because I was like, I had no idea what I was doing. And as someone who wasn't trained as a dancer, I got to kind of figure it out on the fly. But as we know, like, the dance in Hairspray is a lot of ponying, a lot of athletic stuff. So I was able to kind of gain my confidence as a dancer in front of thousands of people every night.
Learn on the job.
I know, right? I did have to do a cabriole on a hot dog cart. So that was,
okay.
Yeah, my hamstring is still not recovered from that. But no, Hairspray, it was so special. And then to be a part of like the closing cast, because they brought back the original leads for that, like Marissa Winokur and Harvey Fierstein and Clark Thorell. It was really, really special and just like super fun. Like, it was just such a fun show. So Hairspray is my favorite. Hardest show, that's a very good question. I would have to say Kinky Boots, if you guys know that. I did it mostly on tour, and it was one of those tours where it was 1 week in a new city. So our day off on Mondays, we were traveling. And my role in that was, I want to say it's like the Elphaba role where I was always on stage, except it wasn't very glamorous because I was kind of the, pun intended, the straight guy who was just there. but I had a lot to do and it wasn't very, it wasn't like the most glamorous role. And it was really hard to sing and really high. And I got really mental because that's just me. And so that was really tough to kind of sing that and sustain it while traveling. So Kinky Boots was really tough. And I did have to wear 6-inch high heels at the end. But that was the easiest part about it. That was the easiest part.
Kinky Boots, it was.
That's right.
All right. Thank you so much, Michaela.
Yeah, nice to meet you, kiddo.
All right, Matthew, come on up. Introduce yourself. What is your question?
Hello, my name is Matthew. I am 19 years old. And my question for you is, I inspired to be on like Broadway. My dream show is Hamilton. Like that's one of my dream shows. My question for you is, what tips do you have for like finding auditions or doing Broadway auditions in general?
So finding auditions just in general, I'm sure the game has changed much more now than when I was in the game. I think it's being open to doing it all, like not kind of putting yourselves in a box. That's kind of especially as a dancer of, okay, you see an audition for something that maybe you do have to sing for or do have to do something else for, right? Even if it's like aerial silks or something, being open to that, even if you can't really do it, I would say just like fake it till you make it. Because I've done that in the past where I've had to like audition for something in improv. It ended up getting me jobs because it's like putting yourself out there and taking those bold risks. When it comes to like at the ins and outs of finding it, I, again, was very lucky that I had representation automatically. The only open call I did was that very first one. But I can speak to agents and manager representation in the sense of like, it's tough because I was so young and I had these, they're adults, right? So, and I was very much in that mindset of teacher pupil, right? Where I have to answer to them. I kind of kowtowed and was just like, okay, whatever you say. But there's going to come a point in your life where like you become adults and you have to understand that you are peers with everyone in the professional world. So it's making sure that it's a conversation and it's not always what they say as the end all be all, because it is your life and they're responsible for like getting you auditions and stuff, but it's okay to kind of tell them what you want, if that makes sense. And maybe that's just me as a Midwestern boy who is told not to have opinions. But so that'd be my advice, is just to like figure out a way to have that conversation with them early on, set the tone. And then also it's okay if you don't want to do something or you do want to do something, and really kind of finding that dynamic, if that makes sense. And then I'm sure social media, all the casting people are online. If they say open calls, submissions, all that kind of stuff, like do it, And then as a singer, like having that go-to audition song is so crucial. Again, because you have that luxury of being able to prepare for an audition. You'll never, ever have to sing on the spot something new for a singing audition. Versus as a dancer, you always learn the combo on the spot. But as a singer, you have that luxury of preparing it. So prepare, right?
Prepare the song.
Yeah, it's true. It seems so simple. And it is.
I mean, it is. And what a luxury, though, because dancers, we don't have the luxury of preparing a combination to present. Yeah. We just have to learn on the spot, on the fly, and just go.
For sure.
What you're doing is great, especially with dancers, to be able to make sure they actually have a song that they can come in and audition with.
Yeah. And then a song that they like feel good at, and it's like actually fun.
Sure.
You guys are performers at heart. So like, imagine if you did all the work ahead of time. You walk in there and it's like, oh, this is an audition. This is performance time, baby. It's like, ooh, I'm going to sing my song. It's good. Because that's what it should feel like. It should feel fun. And yes, you're going to have nerves, but there's stuff you will never be able to control in that setting, but control the stuff that you can.
100%. You just quoted like a line from our last lesson. We had a mental skills educator that was talking about the homework assignment was make a list of the things you can control and the things that you can't. Because in this business, there's a lot of things that you can't control, like the outcome of an audition.
For sure.
They cast. All right, Matthew, thank you so much. Next up, we have Serena.
Hi, my name is Serena Wright. I'm 18 years old from a small town in Texas, and I've been training my whole life, and hopefully soon going to move to New York. Maybe. Yay. We'll see. And I was just curious, what did Broadway teach you about yourself that training never really did?
Oh, that's a really good question. What did Broadway teach me about myself? I'm very much from the world of, I've learned so much more doing jobs and doing shows and doing projects than I ever would have training in college. I think there's a lot that I didn't learn because of that, but it's also like I never had to be tested on that, or, what I don't know what I don't know, kind of a thing. What Broadway taught me, confidence for sure. Like being Fiyero, like, come on, that gave me so much confidence. I mean, it was easy, like for all intents, it's a pretty easy role. It was fun. I got to like feel good about myself. But through that, I think the most important thing that I realized about myself was that I'm actually a more special regular person than I am a performer. Does that make sense? What I bring to teaching and what I bring to just normal conversations, I think I realized that while I love performing, I love being myself in real life in different situations among normal people, muggles, if you will. I think that was something that, looking back on it now as an almost 40-year-old man, was like, it really kind of gave me confidence to be myself, I suppose.
Well, you also had people cheering you on. I saw a clip on YouTube. I don't know if you've even seen this, of somebody filming you coming out of the backstage door, and people were like screaming, like
cool.
Some pop star or something. People were going nuts. I was like, oh, it's a little fan club.
That's what's so cool. I love that about New York. Yeah. I mean, exactly. Right. And like, so my dad worked at Harley Davidson. He was a machinist for 30, 40 years. So
wow.
He always told me, he was like, no one ever claps for me when my job is done. I was like,
Hey, true.
It's so true. So like, it's really cool that like I get to do that, have fun. And then people are like, you did it. Way to go. How novel and how special is that? So.
And that can be very addicting too. And especially when there is no applause. Do you still perform at your highest level when there is no applause? Because you get so used to it.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I prefer theater and over TV film. Like I always found that more difficult, just because I'm very much like The Room and that kind of energy stuff. And I'm very animated, as you guys can obviously tell. So TV was probably like, ooh, calm down, bruh. Maybe that's why I got recast. Like, chill out.
That is true. On set, you're not getting an applause after every take. You may get an applause at the end of the day. We're like, okay, so-and-so's wrapped for the project. Let's give them, okay, bye-bye. Have a nice day.
And they're like, forced to do it.
No, it is true. Dancers, if you ever do TV, film, commercials, anything on camera work, there's generally, unless you're filming something in front of an audience, but generally speaking, there is no instant gratification with the applause of a live audience. So I can understand the rush of a live audience. All right. Thank you so much, Serena. Let's bring up
thank you.
Miss Maya. Introduce yourself. What is your question?
Hi. My name is Maya. I'm 16 and I'm also from Colorado, actually. Since I am from Colorado, I actually have a huge passion for singing. I go to singing lessons every week, and that's kind of like a secret passion of mine that I don't share with a lot of people, is that I want to pursue singing. I was just wondering if you knew any places in Colorado that I could go to kind of get out there, just because, Colorado is not probably the biggest, like singing place or place to like perform, anywhere that I can be seen here, like in my state.
Yeah.
You got a vocal coach down the street.
I know. Yeah, that's true.
Honestly, can I tell you what? I would say 30% of my students are from Colorado. A lot because I know the Let's Studios, but here's it. I mean, and Denver Performing Arts Center is an amazing place. I've been through tour here with 3 different shows, like off and on. I always came through here. I think my advice is finding someone that you like and just make sure you have a path that you're working towards rather than just showing up. And the amount of parents I meet that tell me that their 9-year-old goes to these voice lessons every week and they show up and they're like, ooh, what do you want to do today, kiddo? It's like, no, they're 9. They don't know what they want to do, and it's kind of like quality over quantity. Like once a week is great, but just make sure that like what you are actually working on and toward is helping supplement your dance training. So I don't really know what else is out there, but I would say like take advantage of like even at Parker Performing Arts, go see shows there or shows downtown, like expose yourself to that too. And then we can talk because I'm right down the street.
So I'm glad I met you. I'll definitely look at the program for sure. So thank you so much.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
That. All right, next up, Miss Delaney. Introduce yourself. What is your question?
Hi, I'm Delaney Arns. I'm 23 in Indiana. For dancers who are training themselves and don't have the financial ability to do singing lessons, and not knowing some of the singing terms, how do you go about choosing an audition song?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, it's tough because a lot of what I do is find a song and I curate it for the specific voice. Like I change the key because a lot of times that's 90% of it is like not knowing, or you go in and sing, a Miley Cyrus song and she has a lower voice than me, right? So I would say just like something that is easy, that you have fun singing, but the true test is finding a karaoke track and singing with that, right? Because when you're singing with the original artist, that's like dancing with the assistant and the mirrors, right? And then you take the assistant away and they tell you to turn around and you're like, oh, do I know this combo? So that in and of itself is true test. And then as much as dancers hate hearing this, recording yourself and listening back to it. Because it's like there's half of singing is listening. And there's so much to learn about that. Just think of how many times you watch yourself dance and like self-critique from that. Same thing. But I think like don't overthink it. And I teach a lot of pop songs because it's like, it's not that deep. It's a song. And a lot of pop songs have really good storytelling. And a lot of Broadway musical theater songs are really hard to sing because it's these like belters and, actual expert singers. So it's like, find a song that's like, oh, I can sing this. And a lot of times pick the chorus because the verse is usually the octave below and they always take the chorus up. So usually the verse is too low and then the chorus sits where you want it to be. That makes sense. And that's all you need. 16 bars. That's like, I think 4 8 counts of a chorus and that's it. So that'd be my advice for that.
Second question.
Yes.
I'm a competition director at my studio and we have a lot of like musical theater girls. I was wondering what competition convention that your wife teaches at or is a part of.
Yeah, it's called Energy Dance Project. So the closest we probably come to you is Chicago, and I'm probably going to be there teaching.
There you go.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're
Thank you
welcome.
so much, Delaney. Next up, we have Monse. Introduce yourself, or what is your question?
Hi, my name is Monse. I'm 25 years old. I'm from Napa, California. So you mentioned that you were doing Wicked for 8 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is a wild story from that time in those 8 years? Because it was a long time. And then also a lesson that you learned that you can share with us.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, looking back on it, the fact that I met my wife was really wild. Like that story was crazy because we're in Philadelphia and I had a friend visiting from New York and we were like supposed to go to this restaurant. It was amazing. And it was 108 degrees that day. So their air conditioner broke and the kitchen shut down. So then we couldn't go to that restaurant. So we're like, I guess we'll go across the street to this wine bar and get some dinner there. And I walk in and my friend Ben was there. He called out of the show to see the Red Tour that my now wife was on. So like I walked in, I was like, oh, hey, Ben. Hey, Key girl. And so that was a wild story, just like how, again, just the things leading to different things. So that was just really special. And then, every subsequent date was in a different city, which was really cool. Our first date was in Boston and then Minneapolis and Chicago. So that was really special.
What a nice way to date where you're
I know,
in a different
right?
city every few days.
It's so cool. And now we're just like
Now
so
you're
bored.
stuck
No,
at
I'm just
home.
kidding.
Second part would be a lesson.
Learning
from
lesson.
that time.
Yeah. I think just like being able to put everything that happened in a box and forget about it. Like not stewing with, oh, I had a bad show or I messed up this. It's just like, it happened. It's live theater. I can't do anything about it. And that's very much like, especially for auditions too. I lived with, his name's Ryan Eggold for one pilot season. He was the lead of the new Amsterdam show. He was in Blacklist, amazing actor, but he's like from California, super successful. Just like, hey man, it's all good. I'm like, oh, is it all good? Because you're famous. But living with him, I would come back from these auditions and like talk about it. He's like, dude, put it in a box. It's like, what do you mean? He's like, put it in a box, close that box, lock it, throw away the key. I was like, I can't do that. I care too much. And it's just like, it's so hard to do, but it's just like, again, like I said earlier, being okay with you did your job, you did what you could, and the rest is out of your control. And I think the moments where I did stew in it was because I didn't do enough to prepare for it. That makes sense. I was like, I should have,
Right.
So yeah, being able to just like be okay with what it is. And that's coming from an old man.
Yeah.
You're not old.
You're
You
not
are
old.
So not old.
I'm older than most of you guys.
Monse,
Thank you so much.
for
Yeah,
your
of
question.
course.
Next up, we're going to have Piper.
Hi, my name's Piper Eastwood. I'm 10 years old and I live in Fairfax, Virginia. And my question for you is, what is one tip you have to help gaining confidence
In singing or just in life?
in life?
Confidence in life. I think finding your voice and being okay with having opinions and being confident in those opinions, even if people disagree with you. Because even still, I'll be like, I'll have an opinion, even with my wife, who's very, very strong-willed, awesome, amazing person. But there are times I'll be like, oh, I think maybe this. And she's like, no, this. I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right. So I think the confidence in being okay with being wrong, disagreeing with someone, and it not being a bad thing, right? And just being strong with like, no, this is what I like, and you don't like it, okay, it's fine. You don't have to like hate them, right? Because I think that kind of weighs on yourself of like, oh, I should probably like this, and I'm not good because I don't like this. And so I guess as a confident person, just like being okay with what and knowing what you like and what you don't like. I know that sounds very basic, but it's true. I think a lot of us don't really know that. I'm still figuring that out, right? As an old man.
As a young man. Keep going. Thank you so much, Piper, for your question.
Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. Next up, we have Shannon. Introduce yourself and what is your question?
Hi, I'm Shannon. I'm from New Jersey originally. I live in Jersey City now, and I'm doing the theater, dancer, performer audition hustle in New York City every day.
Sure.
Grew up only dancing, not singing.
Mm-hmm.
When I came to New York, I realized, oh, I really, really need to know how to sing.
Yeah.
You can't just dance, I learned. So I've been working really hard on my voice the past year, and I'm feeling more confident in it and the singing, but I find myself really focusing or like worrying about the technique when I'm singing or performing in an audition or a group setting, especially when I'm nervous and it's harder to drop into like the performing or the acting. So I was wondering if you have any tips for that, for kind of letting go of the worrying about getting all the technique perfect, which I feel like as a dancer, we tend to do, and dropping into the performance.
I think don't worry about it.
Okay.
Like and I'm going to tell you guys, I've probably only had 2 proper voice lessons in my life because yes, you all know how to sing. Like, you know how to sing. Okay. The people who are on the other side of the table aren't like, it's different than how you're critiqued at competition, right? Where it's like, it's not that deep. It's like, can you perform and hold a note? I have an awesome training with a casting director from the Telsey company, which I'm sure you've heard of. They go to Broadway casting company.
Yeah.
It's with Lindsay Levine. And her husband I think he was dance captain at Hamilton, and she does a lot of dance auditions. And I finally was like, tell it to me straight. When a dancer walks in for a singing call, what are you expecting? And she's like, the bar is set so low because dancers go in and they're not prepared. They don't they're so quiet or they don't even show up. And the fact that I think you are already light years ahead of most dancers. So just find confidence in that of like, oh, I'm actually taking voice lessons. I'm actually training my voice. There are so many that aren't. And then like the one other thing is pop quiz, Shannon. A dancer tells a story set to music using what?
Their body.
Their body, exactly. A singer tells a story set to music using what?
Their voice.
What are the 2 things they have in common? Telling a story set to music. So it's like 2/3 of that is already done. Like, you guys know how to like embody lyrics, whether it's a lyrical combo or like, you know how to tell that story. That should be your fail-safe of like, oh, I actually get to use words to like explain that rather than my body. I think it's harder to be like, to embody lyrics. And that's the amazing part about singing, is that you have those words to fall back on. And that's what they're looking for, is someone who can tell that story. Because when you're in a show, that's the most important part. It's like, yeah, you're going to end up sounding good. And that part, you're showing up, you can probably match pitch. The rest is like performance. And that's where the performance comes in as a dancer who sings. It's telling that story. Don't overthink it. You're welcome. Yeah. I'm sure you sound great. Like, it's not that deep.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Shannon. Next up, we have Savannah.
Hi, I'm Savannah Key. I'm 15 and I'm from Sarasota, Florida. And my question to you is, what mistakes did you like learn from the most throughout your career?
What mistakes? I think probably what I touched on before of like, I think the biggest mistakes and the biggest regrets I had was when I would not work as hard as I could on an audition. Like I would get something a week in advance and then I'd wait till the night before to work on it. And I'd be like, and I'd go in and not do great. And then I wouldn't get the job. Right. So I would go back, and it seems simple and obvious, but when you're, maybe doing 8 shows a week and you're like, I'm just tired, I want to go home. Or it's like, oh, I want to go to dinner instead of working on this. It's like your job when you're auditioning, that is your job. Right. I regret not working as hard as I could have in moments that really mattered a lot.
Okay. Thank you so much, Savannah.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Caitlin.
Hi, my name is Caitlin. I'm 14, and my question for you is, what are some tips and tricks when it comes to like auditioning? Do you need to be prepared for certain things? Does it depend on the musical or the show?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the last part is interesting. Like, should you, because a lot of times they'll say, oh, prepare a 16-bar cut of a contemporary musical theater song, right? And yes, it's kind of important, but not really. I only sang like 2 or 3 songs my entire 15-year career. Even if they asked for something different, I would walk in with the song that I knew I could crush and be like, you want to hear this? You want to hear me sing this? Because it's like, that's what I do. And if I wasn't the right fit, then I wasn't the right fit. Or if they wanted to hear me sing something else, they would call me back and I would sing stuff from the show. As a dancer, I think it's more important just to have something you're confident in rather than just like, oh my gosh, they're asking for this. And then you're worried about this. And then you end up not focusing on anything and you go in and present something that you're not comfortable with. So I think even as a dancer, that's so much more important, is just to like not really worry about what they ask for. They're not going to stop you. And the people that will stop you, like, come on, it's okay. Yeah. You're singing, it's not that deep. So yeah, I think just like having something prepared and putting your best foot forward is more important than following the quote unquote rules.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. Next up, we have Brooklyn.
Hi, I'm Brooklyn Bell Reese, and I'm 15, and I'm from Statesboro, Georgia. So I'm really inspired by your story because I've always wanted to sing, and I actually joined a choir class this semester, and I've never really sung before. So my question for you is, how would you recommend like balancing dancing, because I do dance 6 days a week, while also wanting to pursue singing and acting?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the most common questions I get from dancers and their parents. It's like, how do I do it while being busy? You guys don't even eat dinner or do homework, probably, right? It's like, I think it's just knowing, let's say you have your song, like sing it once a day, or having something to do. And that's kind of why I set up my program. It's like making sure that when you guys do have time, you have something to do, rather than it's like, oh, I wish I could sing right now. What should I be doing? Right? Because it's like in choir, yes, it's obviously there. And when you have an appointment with a voice teacher, like, yes, you're going to be singing for that half hour to 60 minutes. But it's like, in between that, there's not a lot of stuff for you guys to be doing, right? So I think it's like within, whether it's finding YouTube warm-ups or finding a coach that gives you like these kind of daily things to work out, because it really is like your voice is a muscle, and you get strength from just like the reps, not so much of like pushing yourself to sing higher or pushing yourself to stretch your range. It's like there's so much to be said in just the consistency of singing every day. And I think, I tell this to a lot of high schoolers and young adults, there is going to come a point where it's like, if it is important to you, something does have to give. And you have to kind of take a step back and be like, okay, what am I actually training for? Am I training for the scholarship? Am I training for the first overall solo? Or am I training for what's beyond the competition convention bubble? Because as an outsider looking, I'm like, you guys are already very good and could like stop dancing because you're already set for life, right? Not that you should, but the amount of time you've already put into dancing it's incredible. But there is going to become a point where it's like you have to make that decision, and it's tough. And it's going to be hard because I know a lot of people don't want to let your teammates down. But it's like maybe doing one less solo or one less group number so you have that time. That'd be my advice with that. It's like, it's those adult kind of tough decisions you have to make.
And online classes like yours make it convenient for parents like me that are driving. I swear any parents in the room can relate. I'm an Uber mom after school hours. That's all I do is I drive kids around. When I talked to him, I was like, my kid's been bugging me for singing lessons, but I don't have any more bandwidth to be driving to more places, to more lessons. It's like, no worries, 30 minutes on your Zoom. I'm like,
and then guess what? We don't meet. I hit you with daily vocal workout. Bam.
Yes.
Sing this.
On
3
the
minutes.
Passion app that you guys are already familiar with.
It's true. And then like it's because I know like, and whenever I learn something new, it's like you get lost. You're like, where do I go next? Right. Like having that path. So just like something as simple as like, let's do this workout. This is your workout for today. Do it. Sing it. Right. That's it. Like it really, I probably sound like a jerk. I'm like, singing's not that deep. It really isn't. You guys, you know how to sing. If you've ever been to a sleepover and driven in a car, like you know how to sing. So trust that. Okay.
Annalise, you're up next.
Hi, my name is Annalise. I'm 16. I'm from Iowa. And my question is, what work environment did you prefer, East or West Coast? And what were the differences? Because I've trained in both and they're definitely different, not necessarily in a bad way, but just very different. So,
yeah, I love East Coast. I prefer East Coast, I should say, because I'm very much I love rehearsal. I love rehearsing and figuring that out. My wife hates it. She's like, give me LA. She's like, why are you wasting my time? I got it. Right. So I think most dancers prefer LA because it is quicker. And it's like, you guys are so used to like learning choreo, picking you up, boom, shoot it. Awesome. Versus like, I'm an artist. So I have to like really connect and find the different things. And it's exhausting. So I prefer the East Coast and just like the rehearsal process and figuring that out. But then also I love like getting it on stage and on its feet. Like there comes a point where it's like, okay, can we just like get some people in, you know?
So you're East Coast boy, but your wife is West Coast. I'm West Coast. I'm on Team West Coast.
I think that's most dancers, especially from like the commercial world. Like you're just like, let's do it.
What's also the lifestyle is very different in LA and New York. You know, LA, you need a car. Everything's so spread out. It's always sunny. New York, you guys get cold winters, but you get hot summers, but everybody is in the hustle and bustle of the train rides.
There's no relaxation.
Subways, you know, so it's
there's
a
never
lifestyle.
Yeah, you never feel alone. At least like in your car in LA, you have a moment to yourself. There's even when you're in your apartment and you
to yourself, you got cars.
Okay, with your kids or that, but then you can also just turn up your music. I guess you can do it with headphones, but you know, you're always on guard.
Well, yeah, on the subway in New York, you just never know. There's always a character on the subway.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you so much, Annalise. Next up, we have Sophia. Introduce yourself. What is your question?
Hi, my name is Sophia and I'm from Utah. My question is, whenever I've taken voice lessons, it's whenever I'm in class, I do great. But then I get on the stage and I get like all the nerves come and I can't the voice cracking.
Yeah.
And then putting the dancing on top of that, I don't hit the notes the way you should. So do you have any like tips on like that and being able to dance and sing at the same time?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I had to figure that out in a couple different shows. One was Next to Normal, where it was 8 people in the show and it was very exposed. And it was like 3 tiers of scaffolding. And my solo song was called I'm Alive. And I had to I was running up and down stairs and like swinging on poles while I was singing. And at that point, that was my second Broadway show. So I was like, oh, I know my breath. Like, I feel pretty good with my breath control. But like, I had to really reinvest into it and like strengthen my diaphragm. And there's like different exercises you can do with that. The one thing within that I realized with breathing and singing, especially with like moving at the same time, is a lot of times we don't use the breath that we have and then try to breathe on top of that. And that's where you get that out of breath kind of feeling because you're like not fully exhaling to then breathe in. Especially as dancers, because you guys are just you hold everything in. So that's always my advice on convention is like, find the moments where you let go to then breathe back in. And it seems obvious, but that is the number one thing to kind of get that tension and voice cracks because you hold it all up here and then you're just so tense up here. And that's why your voice cracks because you're actually have too much breath and you need to like let it out to then fill back up. So it's finding those moments and then actually like, you know, I do this with the mentorship is like choreographing where you're breathing, like add it to the song of like, oh, I know I'm going to breathe here. I know this certain move, I'm not bent over and can take a deep breath. And like, it's part of the movement. It's part of the song of those breaths. It's just as important as the notes, if not more, because if you don't have that breath, you can't sing it, you know? So yeah, just work on like actually letting go to then breathe in.
Dancers, I think, struggle with breathing. I think they just don't breathe on stage.
I think it's like, it comes to that point where, you know, I have a 4-year-old and she's, you know, she goes to the beach in a 2-piece and her belly is just like, you know, it's a toddler belly. Exactly. And there comes that moment where you're like, oh, I'm in a 2-piece. I have to hold it in, right? Or I'm in my, Leo and I have to keep it in, right?
Core.
Exactly. Engage the core. Exactly. And I think that ends up being your stasis. That's like your home base of like this kind of activated tenseness as a dancer. And singing is almost like the opposite, like that midsection, you like have to let it go. Okay. And now as an old man, I'm okay with that, letting it go.
The young man that you are.
It's true though.
Old.
I know.
All right. Thank you so much, Sophia.
Yeah.
All right. Well, our time is up. However, before we wrap up, do you have any final words?
I mean, this has been so fun. You guys are very inspiring. It's cool to see like so many young performers and people like investing in their future. And you're so lucky to have something and someone like Menina to like facilitate that. It's such a different world these days. So like take advantage of all of that because you won't regret it. And kind of getting that experience and just meeting people. Look at all your fellow like peers that you're going to see the rest of your life in New York auditioning. And yeah, I just like when it comes to singing, just make sure you have like a song with sheet music and tracks. And it's just like you have fun with it and don't overthink it. And just remember why you wanted to do it in the first place, which is performing, and use those auditions, whether it's dance or singing auditions, as like the performance. Because that's the only way that you're not going to burn yourself out and stress out is like, oh, I get to do this. Like I get to audition. I get to perform. So those auditions are really just like your chance to flex that muscle. That'd be my biggest piece of advice.
I love that. Well, on behalf of the business of dance, dancers, show them how we do it. Give them some virtual love. We send you our virtual hearts. Thank you so much for sharing so much of you and your story. I learned some new things about you today that I didn't know. So it was fun to go down memory lane for you and also be able to share your gifts with these dancers. And what is the best way for dancers to connect with you?
Yeah, find me on Instagram. It's just Curt, CURT_Hansen, HANSEN. On Instagram, shoot me a DM. That's pretty much the easiest way. I'm there. I don't have an AI assistant yet, or a virtual assistant yet. So.
You'll get there.
I'll get there.
Well, thank you so much again, Curt. It's been an honor and a pleasure. I know this is not a goodbye. This is I'll see you later.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you again, Curt.
And that concludes another episode of the Business of Dance podcast.
We hope you found today's conversation insightful and gained valuable knowledge.
Be sure to join us next time for more inspiring interviews with top professionals in the dance industry.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to The Business of Dance on your favorite platform and take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback is greatly appreciated.
This podcast is brought to you by the Business of Dance online mentorship program to help aspiring professional dancers create their dream dance careers.
Thank you for listening. Until next time.